Okay, so you might question yourself sometimes. I've been playing Rainbow for 2 years and I'm still in Gold 1. Now, today we are going to be looking at why you are not improving in Rainbow Six Siege and how to get better fast within Rainbow. Okay, now there's 4 key topics I want to talk about today. So the first thing is perfecting your mechanics. The second thing is learning game sense. The third thing is watching the pros, and the fourth thing is finding a team. Okay, so really the main reason why you're not improving in Rainbow Six Siege is because you're not committed to it. You're not taking the time out your day to do these extra things. Now they usually say when you want to do what you want, you have to go that extra mile to actually make some improvement. You might do the same thing every day, but every day you need to just go that extra mile to actually see a difference in what you're doing. Okay, so first I want to talk about perfecting your mechanics. Now, you're not really focusing on mechanics, you're just thinking that you can play and then over time your mechanics will just improve. When that's not really the case, you need to take the time out to learn mechanics. So mechanics could be broken down into things like vertical play, effective angles, aim, etc. Maybe like, I don't know, even specific things like bandit tricking. So let's talk about vertical play. Now I'm gonna show some gameplay on screen as I talk, but you want to kind of learn vertical play, just like hop into some custom games, play Buck and learn the best spots to open up as Buck. And I'd recommend also use reflex. And just another bonus tip, when you're using the reflex, the green triangle, your bullets actually hit the tip of the triangle, it's not the middle, so make sure when you're aiming that the tip of the triangle is where you're hoping to shoot. But yeah, vertical play is really important in Rainbow. In a game where you have destructible environments, which is like the main core thing about Rainbow, it's important that you make the most of it. So vertical play, let's say you are attacking T-room on Skyscraper, you usually get people that like to hunker down in the bunker in T-room. You know those little 2 half walls in T-room. There's a spot you can go under and then, you know, just bucket to get rid of those anchors, make them move around. And in party room or disco room, there's that chair they like to hide behind. You can buck that, it forces them to move. And whilst you're underneath forcing the anchors to move, your teammates are also going to be watching rotations and watching angles, so you could be bucking underneath, it forces them to move, and then your attacker could be watching an angle and then that's an easy pick for them. So just learning things like that is really important, and then obviously that means you have to communicate with your team, so that's important as well. Other things like practicing your aim. Now you want to go into T-hunt, you want to have a reason you're going into T-hunt, so you could like practice flicking or crosshair placements. So just go around, shoot all the terrorists, but focus on like maybe your crosshair placements, or like look away and then try and flick over just to get comfortable with your sensitivity. That's really important. The other mechanic is learning the angles. Now, for example, you could come into Border, Armory, and then learning angles such as, like we all know, or I'd assume if you don't know, and then here's where you want to improve on. But it's important to just learn the basics of learning certain angles. Now the good thing about learning angles is it doesn't really take any insane aim to do this, you just kind of learn it. So you can come into Armory and Border. If you're defending Workshop, you can just open up holes from above and watch when they go to vault a window. So it's just really important just to kind of learn these basic things. Now if this isn't basic stuff to you, and then it really does mean that you do have a lot to learn. Now I know Rainbow is a really hard game to learn with how much there is, so it's important to just learn these things and then head into the more advanced stuff. But there's so many people out there that don't even take the advantage of the destructible floors and walls to their advantage, so please take advantage of this. Now they're just mechanics. Let's talk about the game sense. Now the difference from game sense and mechanics is more of like learning angles, learning your aim, etc., like the actual core features, whereas game sense is more to do with like the brain and like being aware of everything around you and everything going on in the game, paying attention to how the enemies might approach the attack, knowing how to utilize the most of your gadgets and so on. Now, but I'd say it's important to learn your mechanics before you learn your game sense. Understanding game sense could come from things like for example, if you're a minute into a round and you see a drone come from aqua door or aquarium door on coastline, and then it usually means that they're planning to approach that when attacking billiards. So there's kind of simple things like that, like knowing how the attackers would play off their drones and then kind of countering it. Because I know a lot of people would just shoot out a drone and then just run away, but they don't really think about what it means. Like shoot out a drone, think about, okay, where did that drone just come from, and then kind of counterplay how they're going to approach from what they've just droned. There are other things like to do with game sense, like for example, checking your default cams at the beginning of the round quickly before they shoot it out. Because all attackers are going to shoot out the default cam, so it's important that as soon as the prep phase is over, to quickly check the default cams just to see who they have. And then if you see that they have a Thermite, Thatcher, Capital, Zofia, and then you know that their main objective is to get the main wall open. Now most maps usually have a main wall, so Chalet, you have the garage main wall, Clubhouse, CCTV, you have that main wall they're trying to open. Now instantly the prep phase has just ended and you know, okay, their main objective is to get that wall open. So as a roamer or anchor, you can kind of prepare for this. Position yourself in a way that once they get their wall open, what are they going to do next? They might try and push garage and clubhouse, and then make sure you have Jaeger ADS in the garage balcony, because they are going to try and take control of garage. So you know, it's just kind of those it's hard to explain, but it's just those simple things and knowing how to do stuff like playing off what your enemies are going to do kind of thing. And another thing, like just another example, is when you're defending trophy in villa, that's the top floor next to bedroom, if you don't know the callouts. Now most attackers, or what attackers should be doing in high rank, is taking control of bedroom, because you know they want to secure getting the wall open. So as a defender, you should probably place smoke, put deployable shield in the closet. You can get Jaeger ADS so they can't destroy it. And then you want to waste as much time as possible in the bedroom, because they're going to try and take control of bedroom. So you place smoke, waste as much time as you can in bedroom, reinforce the wall behind you so they can't get you on the rappel wall. That's it, no, it's not a rappel wall, they can just shoot through it on the roof. But yeah, like I'm saying, just reinforce behind you. If they vault over the window in the closet, you can just shotgun it. And then the deployable shield, you can use SMG just to quickly peek. And then obviously have your smoke canisters, which will waste even more time. But even if they just see that deployable shield there, they are going to get scared anyway. And even if you do die and you've wasted a minute, you've done your job. Now it's just up to the rest of the defenders, because the attackers aren't going to have as much time now to do what they wanted to do. It's just simple things like that is a difference between a bad player and a good player. A good player will understand how the enemies are trying to play, and I think that's another thing as well I want to quickly mention, is understanding with each objective which location the enemies will try and take control of, and as a roamer, which location do you want to take control of. Like CCTV and clubhouse, attackers are going to try and take control of garage as it gives them the advantage. Villa, you want to take control of bedroom when defending trophy. Just those sort of things, knowing which are the core locations that needed to be in your control to win. Trying to think of more. Cafe, top floor, they will try and take control of piano or cigar lounge, so you want to defend cigar. It's just these things that separate bad players from good players, combined with mechanics like holding angles, like learning angles, vertical play and all that. The next topic I want to talk about is watching the pros. Just understanding how like the pros handle certain situations and incorporate it into your games, and just kind of understanding how high level players would defend a certain objective, and why it's set up like that, and then you can use it. Because you could be like playing kitchen on coastline and you think, oh, I'm gonna reinforce all 4 walls and kitchen, and then you might watch a pro player and then you see, hold on a minute, he's only reinforced 3 of the walls and then his shotgun opened the 4th wall. Why has he done that? And then you understand why he's done that, and then you put it in your game, and then the enemies are going to be like, why the hell have they shotgunned that open, but it's actually working in your advantage. So it's just things like that, like learning what the pros are doing and why, and then putting it in your gameplay. So that's just a quick thing I want to talk about in terms of watching the pros, but something I'd recommend you don't do is copy other people's sensors, like sensitivity, because you just want to use what you're comfortable with and then get good with it. So make sure you don't do that. And then the last thing I want to talk about is finding a team. Now in a game like Rainbow, communication is everything. You want to make sure you're teamed up with people who have the same goal as you and are looking to rank up. Now currently I have a team I play with. Now before I had that team, I was solo queuing, and for every like 10 games I would play, I would lose 4. So obviously like, I'm still ranking up, but it can be different for everyone. If you're not good solo queuing, then you could be like on a losing streak. But now that I have a team, I just played 11 matches today with my team, and I've won 10 of them. 11 matches and I won 10 of them. Now that is there's so much difference in solo queue and team play, and it's really important to have a team. Now it's kind of hard to just say, oh yeah, get some friends, because you might not have friends who are interested in Rainbow as much as you are. And I've looked around for Discord channels, but there's not that many Discord channels that like find teams. So all I can really recommend is try and search for a Discord channel, but if you can't, just play solo queue games, and then if you run into good people, say to them, hey, do you want to queue up? I realise you're good and we're both looking for the same thing, we should queue up. And then that's it, you have 2 people who are really good playing. You then, next game, you also recognise, oh look, this guy's really good, let's ask if you want to join our team. He says yes, that's 3 really good guys playing, so on, so on. So that is pretty much all the core topics I want to cover. I'm just trying to think, is there really anything else I just want to quickly mention? Like, it's like with a game like Rainbow, there is a lot to learn and it is time consuming, but if you're really willing to do it, now if it's because you want to become a pro and then you know you want to stick to your dreams, I'd just focus on that, play every day. Or even if it's like you just want to have fun, like you want to be really good and it's just fun, focus, playing every day, you know, just all that jazz. Now there are just other small things like just, you know, learning the angles, learning the best Valkyrie cameras, and you can just watch people like, I don't know, Coconut Bra, or I might start doing it on my channel where I just show tips and tricks if you're interested in that. So you do have the mechanics, the game sense, watching the pros and finding a team, but then you do just have the small things like learning best Valkyrie cam spots and all that. I'm sure you can just find out on YouTube if you'd want me to start doing that, because I do know a good few spots. And then yeah, but if you enjoyed this video, I will be making more tips and tricks because I would love for you guys to rank up, and I know the frustration in solo queue. But yeah, so comment down below which video you'd want next, and I hope you all have a wonderful day, and goodbye.